Earlier this year, the Australian government cut penalty rates for hospitality and low-income workers. At the same time, the Australian unions called for a $43 increase to the minimum wage and reports that workers have not been paid for the work they are doing. This has caused massive debate across Australia between workers and business owners. In Australia last year, there was a 12.1% increase in business failures. I want to know why the businesses are under pressure. I spoke to business owners and business experts about their opinion on penalty rates, the union's call on minimum wage, and what it's like today in Australia to run a business.
There's lots of different challenges. Some can be abiding by all the rules and regulations, competition, and also, basically advertising would be another aspect, marketing, general upkeep. It's hard work. Small business is very hard work. It's a lot harder, I would say, than being paid just a wage on a weekly wage, because you get paid a wage and you go home and have to worry about it. 24/7 is small business.
In the industry that we work in, the construction industry and the building type industries, you need to make sure they're all safe, and they've all been trained in the correct practices to ensure that no one gets hurt or injured.
They work very long hours and complex hours, nights. If you have a young family, you have little time to be spending with your children, so it becomes a difficulty for them. So maintaining employees happy, retaining staff, keeping prices down, the produce that you use, labour costs, new technologies that come in, and also rents, which are quite hefty at this stage.
I asked them about their opinion on penalty rates.
I think it's time and a half. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's fair.
You think that's fair?
I think it's fair that people should be paid accordingly. So if you're good in business, you should be incorporating those costs so that it's fair for everybody. The owner makes a buck, but the employee also gets paid for the work that he or she does.
Well, my opinion is that penalty rates have a history of creation of it. The reason that people are paid a minimum wage rate, a penalty rate during weekends or after hours, it's because it is the trade-off of what you do on your free time, the time that you might spend with your family or your friends, or relaxing or doing things in your home on a weekend, and that's the reason, the trade-off between having that free time and you having to work in a job.
The world's changed a little bit, and people are working 7 days a week. They're working nights, they're working from home. A lot of restaurants and cafes rely on Saturday and Sunday. Shops are open Sundays and Saturdays more than they used to be. So I think it's becoming less and less required to have penalty rates.
I found out that some business owners have found a way to loophole the system.
With our girl, a lot of businesses tend to use cash as an incentive, so then they don't have to declare it on their books, and that's well and good if that's what that employees want. But it can be a bind in the sense that those people aren't getting access to super.
I don't think it's legal. It's something that I've also heard of, and I think it's again around trying to pay the least amount of tax so that you can have the healthiest possible income coming back to you. And as a small business, I could see that they may think that they might be able to get away with something like that, because they can in some respects go under the radar if they have a really small number of employees. But I don't think it's something that's encouraged, and I don't think that it's legal at all.
And it was just, I don't know, it's just one way that you didn't have to pay.
Do you call it a loophole?
Yes, yeah. But a lot of people do it.
Then finally, I asked them about the union's request for a $43 a week increase to the minimum wage.
Well, that looks like an ambit claim. Unions do have ambit claims, that is a very high claim, so that they can come to a negotiated settlement that falls, say, into the mid-20s, $30 range. I'd say that it's just an ambit claim for the next set of negotiations that will be coming along in the next 12 months.
Oh, look, for a small business, it's it's a lot of not a lot of money, but it's a bit of money. Essentially, I work on the philosophy that the more that you're forced to pay people, the less people you're going to employ. So if you employ 50 people and wages go up a lot, you might have to just reduce that to 45 people. So 5 people don't have a job.
I do agree. I do think that our costs of living and other costs of being an Australian have increased in the last year, let alone over the last couple of decades. And I do feel that needs to be reflected in the rate that we're paying the minimum wage we're paying to people who are working in our country.